It's prison time and fines for a Mexican business mogul caught illegally donating to San Diego campaigns.
People will get a real chance to experience what it feels like to be in a safe, comfortable environment for biking and walking, but also just having a really good time.
Parts of downtown San Diego are going car-free on Sunday, where participants will get a glimpse into a safer bike and pedestrian future for the city. And Halloween is almost here. Whether you prefer scary film classics, gory theater offerings, or ghoulish parties, we've got recommendations to fill your holiday calendar this weekend. KPBS Evening Edition starts now. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Ebony Monet. Today, San Diego federal judge sentenced a Mexican business mogul to 3 years in prison and ordered him to pay more than $560,000 in fines for illegally injecting that amount into the campaign coffers of San Diego candidates. KPBS investigative reporter Amita Sharma is at the federal courthouse.
The first time since this case started, Jose Susimo Azano Matsura addressed the court. He said that if he had to do it all over again, he wouldn't have given to anyone. He said that if he were to become a U.S. citizen and therefore was legally allowed to contribute to U.S. campaigns, he still would not give. And he apologized to the court. But prosecutors said that what Azano did struck at the very heart of what America stands for. Prosecutor Mark Pletcher said American elections are not for sale.
And the judge immediately remanded the defendant into custody today. I think that sends a strong message that elections are to be free and fair, devoid of corrupt foreign influence.
Prosecutors had asked that Azano be sentenced to 6 years in prison, but in the end, Judge Michael Anello sentenced Azano to 3 years in prison. In reducing the sentence, Judge Anello said that what Azano did was serious, but they were in essence victimless crimes. There was no violence, there were no bodies, no property was damaged, and he also cited Azano's career as a successful businessman, the fact that he did not have a history of crime. He cited his charitable giving and the fact that he was a married man, a family man, and someone who appeared to be devoted to his children. Azano was taken into custody immediately to begin serving his 3-year sentence. His lawyers do plan to appeal the case. Reporting from the federal courthouse downtown, Amita Sharma, KPBS News.
More than a month after a training accident at Camp Pendleton left 14 Marines and a sailor injured, all but one of the victims have been released. KPBS military reporter Steve Walsh was at Camp Pendleton this morning and has this report.
The Marines have provided few details about a September 13 fire involving an amphibious assault vehicle. We know one Marine is still hospitalized. He's been transferred to Brooke Army Medical Center in San Antonio, Texas. All of the others have been released, including those once listed in critical condition. Press reports say early indications are an AAV may have struck a natural gas line during a training exercise.
We're going to get to the bottom of exactly what happened, and then, if we find things out in the course of the investigation that we need to remediate immediately, then we will get that word out to the formation.
The general didn't release any more information during Dawn Blitz, a massive amphibious landing exercise which continues at Camp Pendleton. The exercise included craft similar to the aging landing craft involved in the accident. According to the general, the exercise went off without incident. Dawn Blitz includes troops from several countries, including 100 from Japan. The exercise runs through Monday. Steve Walsh, KPBS News.
U.S. officials showed off border wall prototypes Thursday, designed and built by firms competing for a chance to be part of the larger wall project backed by President Trump. The wall portions will be subjected to testing by sledgehammers, torches, pickaxes, and battery-operated tools to test their strength and resistance to climbing and digging. Not everyone, though, is impressed. People on the Mexican side of the border say they don't see an improved wall changing things much.
Those who have the American dream will find a way. Let's hope it's effective for the government, because for Mexicans, as daring as Mexicans are, I don't think that wall will stop them.
I don't think it will be very useful. I watched when they built them, and they do not have much of a foundation, so they will be able to dig under them. They are not going to be very useful. We are good at digging tunnels.
Construction of a new border wall has yet to be funded by Congress. Congressional Republicans say border security measures like the wall are key to finding a solution for DACA, the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program. President Donald Trump has already announced the end of that program, giving Congress a few months to find an alternative for young people who are brought into the U.S. illegally as children.
That plan is going to have to be a combination of border security and enhanced enforcement so we don't repeat this problem in the future, and at the same time grant legal residency to those who were brought here as children through no fault of their own and know only America is their home.
About 800,000 people are currently enrolled in the program. The epidemic of opioid abuse is increasingly affecting one of our most vulnerable populations. KPBS health reporter Kenny Goldberg says every 25 minutes, a baby is born in the U.S. suffering from opioid withdrawal.
It's called neonatal abstinence syndrome. That's a group of problems that newborns experience after being exposed to opioids in the womb. Symptoms can include fever, vomiting, and seizures. UC San Diego pediatrician Michelle Leff says affected babies are born addicted to opioids.
And if their symptoms are severe enough, we give them lower doses of opioids and slowly decrease that over time to help with the symptom management and wean them off slowly.
Dr. Leff says the long-term effects of neonatal abstinence syndrome are unknown. In 2015, more than 3,300 babies were born with this condition in California. Kenny Goldberg, KPBS News.
San Diego's short-term rental debate won't be settled in the near future. A city council hearing on regulating these vacation rentals has been rescheduled for December 12th. Advertised on websites like Airbnb and HomeAway, short-term rentals are promoted as a family-friendly alternative to expensive coastal hotel rates. But many residents say they bring unwanted noise, traffic, and trash. The December hearing will be held in Golden Hall in the downtown Civic Center Plaza. San Diego leaders are asking for the public's help. They're trying to figure out what is the best use of a landmark turned eyesore. The former downtown Central Library has been vacant in the East Village since 2013. The area is zoned for mixed-use construction, meaning what goes up next must have a commercial business on the first floor and residential units above. But the future of the building has been a topic of debate. Advocates for the homeless want to turn it into a shelter. Now, after rejecting past recommendations, the city is once again calling for bids to come up with more ideas. The deadline is January 31st. 3 miles of streets downtown will be free of cars on Sunday. KPBS Metro reporter Andrew Bowen says the annual CiclosDias event aims to celebrate biking and walking.
Andy Hanshaw of the San Diego County Bike Coalition rides with me along some of the streets that will be opened up entirely for pedestrians and bicyclists this weekend. This is the 5th CiclosDias in San Diego and the first one taking place downtown. The route starts in Barrio Logan, winds through the East Village and Gaslamp Quarter to finish in Little Italy. Hanshaw says the event is a chance for people to connect more with their community.
The air is cleaner, the streets are quieter, but people are very active and busy, and you'll see a lot of fun activities on the street too. We're working with all the business districts on the route to create experiences for people all along the route.
Hanshaw says this kind of open streets event supports the goals of the city's climate action plan and its Vision Zero goal to eliminate traffic deaths.
I think people will get a real chance to experience what it feels like to be in a safe, comfortable environment for biking and walking, but also just having a really good time.
Part of the route on Sunday will feature a preview demonstration of the Downtown Mobility Plan, which will add miles of safer, protected bike lanes and green landscaping throughout downtown. Andrew Bowen, KPBS News.
Can you name a single federal regulation? They're all around you, from the second you open your eyes in the morning. In tonight's Marketplace Report, we unpack a 10-letter word that influences our lives daily, from the food we eat to the air we breathe.
From the second you open your eyes in the morning, your life is full of federal regulations. Congress writes laws and leaves it to government agencies to write the rules, or regulations, to enforce those laws. That iPhone you use as an alarm clock, it's been certified by the Federal Trade Commission, which makes sure all phones sold in the United States comply with guidelines on radio frequency energy emission levels. And its signal comes from towers approved by the Federal Communications Commission, the Environmental Protection Agency, and even the Federal Aviation Administration.
It's a lot of information first thing in the morning.
The Environmental Protection Agency sets specific safety standards for the water that comes out of your faucet and requires new faucets to flow at no more than 2.5 gallons per minute. Oh, soap.
What now?
To be considered soap, that bar needs to meet specific criteria from the Food and Drug Administration. Then its ingredients are inspected by the Consumer Product Safety Commission to make sure what you're using is actually soap.
It is.
Are you sure? If that bar claims to alter the appearance of your skin by moisturizing or beautifying, it can be considered a cosmetic. And the FDA hardly regulates those at all.
Wait, what?
Breakfast. The most regulated meal of the morning.
Uh-oh.
The Federal Trade Commission regulates every single word on your box of cereal, from the size of the type on the nutritional information panel to the adjectives used to describe it. Those healthy Wheatos can't be called healthy without FTC approval.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
But wait, there's more. That banana you've got there, it had to be accompanied by a phytosanitary certificate that states it was grown, packed, inspected, and found to be free of quarantine pests.
That sounds like a lot of hoopla for a banana.
And that hoopla can cause goods to be more expensive, but it can also make what we buy and use safer.
Okay, I get it. There are federal regulations everywhere, and they're here to help us.
Well, that's the intention. And do you know how many regulations there are?
Lots?
There are over 170,000 dense pages in the most recent Code of Federal Regulations. That means it would take you more than 3 years of 40-hour work weeks to read through it.
Well, speaking of work, I'm going to be late.
You think there are a lot of regulations in here? Just wait until you get outside.
This day in the life of federal regulations was produced by the Marketplace podcast, The Uncertain Hour. It looks at the origins of regulations in America, the red tape that shapes our democracy, and why it matters now. You can find more information at marketplace.org. A seasonably warm Friday in San Diego. What can we expect this weekend? The forecast next.
Well, we have been dealing with excessive heat, dry conditions. The dry conditions continue as we take a look at our satellite and radar, not seeing any clouds here. We're still dealing with just a lot of sunshine, mainly clear skies for tonight. But the good news is we have cooler temperatures progressively each day. So for tonight in San Diego County into Chula Vista, we'll be at 58 degrees, San Diego 62 degrees, Oceanside 51, Borrego Springs 61 degrees, and Mount Laguna 49. sunshine. We're keeping the dry air. The winds diminish a little bit. Still staying very warm, but not nearly as hot as what we have been dealing with. So like I said, each day it comes down a little bit. So in San Diego County, tomorrow in San Diego itself, we'll see a temperature of 79 in Chula Vista. Oceanside's at 80 degrees. Lots of sunshine in the forecast and dry. Mount Laguna at 73 degrees. And as we take a look at the coastline, like I said, things will be cooler, sunny and pleasant on Sunday, 76. And then we drop to 71 degrees with a partly cloudy sky on Monday, partly sunny Tuesday at 70, and nice with sunshine on Wednesday and 72. Cooling down inland areas. We go from 93 on Saturday to 85 on Sunday, and then we drop back to 75 on Monday. Partly sunny skies on Tuesday at 72 degrees. In the mountain areas on Saturday, we're at 73. We'll drop to 71 Sunday with sunshine. Beautiful. Mostly sunny and cooler Monday, 60. And then look at that. We fall back into the 50s with some sunshine mixing with a few clouds on Tuesday. In the desert areas, 94, sunny and very warm for Saturday. We'll be at 92 on Sunday. Also cooling down here. In fact, by the time we get to Tuesday, our temperature is at 80 degrees with a partly sunny sky. I'm Regina Miller, KPBS News.
We know SDG&E power lines caused some of the 2007 wildfires, so why don't we know who's going to pay the outstanding bill? And we look at why it's taking so long for the city of San Diego to craft rules for short-term vacation rentals. These stories and more on the Roundtable tonight at 8:30.
Chinese descendant and artist Ai Weiwei has long tackled politically sensitive subjects. In an alleged retaliation for works criticizing the Chinese government, he was arrested, beaten, and had his passport confiscated. KQED's Monica Lamb talked to him about his new film, Human Flow, and how it tackles the global refugee crisis.
Ai Weiwei, artist, activist. Your film, Human Flow, documents massive human migration due to war, violence, disaster. What did you learn from making this film?
What I have learned is very simple. Among these 65 million refugees, there's no single one is willing to leave their home. They all struggle not to leave with very heavy price they have to pay. Their relatives, friends, or whole village vanished by war, by famine, or environmental problems.
United States President Donald Trump has cut in half, in fact, more than half, the number of refugees allowed in this country. What is your reaction to that?
I think at the current administration, what they did is beyond belief.
More than ever, we need the wall. We have drugs pouring through.
I should say it's shameful. A nation like the United States, which is the most powerful, not only leading in the economics, but should be the strongest nation in defending human rights. After all, U.S. is a nation of migrants. Just a few generations ago, we all come from somewhere.
Absolutely.
I never met a native here.
Let's talk about your home country, China. What do you think China should be doing to help resolve this crisis?
China is gradually become a super economic power, and a lot they should do. Even domestically, China has human rights issues to solve. Like Tibetans cannot get a passport to travel. I mean, to limit somebody's rights to move is almost the same as to push someone to leave their home.
The officials came here and told them, look, there's no way you're going to get papers to continue. Either you go voluntarily or we arrest you.
A lot of your work takes aim right at the heart of power, the Chinese government, corruption, and here at Alcatraz, the prison system. Do you think those in power are listening?
I know it's very hard to make a power listening, but that's why those voices are so necessary.
The children need to go to school. Majority of them, last 5 years, didn't go to school even one day.
And basically all those mistakes or those tragedies are made by human.
There is no bath, no showering facilities. The hygienic situation is very bad.
So if we don't want to be part of shameful condition, then leave us no choice to make our sound to be heard
Do you think you're encouraging those in power to change or just making them look like fools, or is it the same thing?
I think we have to consider they're also human beings, of course. We talk about the issues relate to everybody. They all have families, have children. It's different ways of communication. So I have to believe in this kind of struggle.
In your film, there's a scene of a man walking through a graveyard, and he's lost many of his loved ones. He's really speaking from his heart, just as an individual person. For people watching the film, what can they do about this?
First, I think we often talk about the crisis without asking why those people are being such a tragic journey. There's so many wars, Iraq war, Afghanistan war, Syria war. And we also see we are selling extremely dangerous weapons to dangerous locations. Big profit are made by United States or European leading nations. And we cannot pretend we are naive on those issues.
You call yourself an artist and activist. Do you also see yourself as a journalist?
I have a journalist card as a reporter, because if I go to those nations to interview people, often I have to have something protect me. So yes, I'm a journalist also. I did a lot of investigations, asked really tough questions, and to trying to get some facts out.
Thank you very much, Ai Weiwei.
Thank you.
That was KQED's Monica Lamb talking with artist and filmmaker Ai Weiwei.
I'm Judy Woodruff. On the next News Hour, National Book Award winner Jesmyn Ward looks at love, class, and race in her new novel. That's Friday on the PBS News Hour.
Halloween may not be until Tuesday, but many events are happening this weekend. Here with some arts-related things to do for Halloween is KPBS Arts Calendar Editor Nina Guerin.
Before we get into Halloween events, I want to let you know about Swan Lake. California Ballet stages this iconic story about a prince who falls in love with a magical swan queen. It features a beautiful score from Tchaikovsky and all the elements you'd expect of a grand ballet: tutus, point shoes, and tragic romance. Okay, back to Halloween. The Oceanside Museum of Art has a party centered around the artwork of Raleigh Crump.
Walt came up with the idea of a boat ride for children around the world.
Raleigh Crump designed iconic Disney spaces like It's a Small World and the Haunted Mansion.
How tall is the real tower, Raleigh? It's 120 feet.
And the museum party takes that whimsical spirit for a night of roving magic, a video light show, ballet folklorico, and more. There will be tequila shots in skull glasses and taco plates for purchase. This party is for ages 21 and up only. If you're looking for something spookier, head over to Terror on the 10th. That's where there'll be a performance of Evil Dead the Musical, a show that requires goggles and ponchos for anyone sitting too close to the front. Also happening will be a horror art exhibit, gaming until dawn, and ghost tours of the 10th Avenue Arts Building. Finally, Signet Theater has an appointment with the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. Favorite local actors will do a concert reading of Sweeney Todd, the story of a demonic barber who takes revenge on the people who made him suffer.
Welcome to the grave, I will have vengeance.
This is a good way to celebrate Halloween without leaving the theater, especially since costumes are encouraged at the performances. Have a safe and happy Halloween. For KPBS Arts, I'm Nina Guerin.
And if you like your Halloween celebrations with a side of cinema, KPBS's Beth Accomando has a few recommendations.
I consume horror films all year round, but October is the time when the rest of the world is finally in sync with my taste. So, in the days leading up to Halloween, you have a trio of horror classics to enjoy on the big screen. First up, Cinema Under the Stars will showcase a classic from the master of suspense, Alfred Hitchcock. The Bird serves up a chilling tale of nature turning against humanity. Just honk if you love Hitch. Next up, travel to Italy.
Go to Italy. It's a peaceful country. Nothing ever happens there.
But a lot does happen, and bodies pile up in Dario Argento's stylish gem, Bird with Crystal Plumage. It's the final film I'm co-presenting in the Film Geek San Diego series, A Giallo Affair, at the Digital Gym Cinema. And saving the best for last.
Welcome to a night of total terror.
George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead changed the face of horror and created the modern zombie. The 1968 film has gone through a 4K digital restoration and will be shown in all its black and white glory on the giant screen at the Balboa Theater on Halloween night.
The killers are eating the flesh of the people they murdered.
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.
So this Halloween, don't settle for any modern tricks and instead enjoy some old school treats. Beth Accomando, KPBS News.
Today marks the 50th annual UC San Diego Pumpkin Drop. Once the 420-pound squash was pushed from the 11th floor, spectators ran over to get a closer look. Each year, the pumpkin splat is measured. 138 feet is the record to beat. The pumpkin was hollowed and filled with candy. After the drop, the school held a Halloween carnival. You can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org/Evening Edition. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.